We're going to look at the rear foot elevated split squat. So now we're going to elevate that rear leg. Again, we're going to be looking more along the lines of one bumper plate, maybe even two. Now this is not quite the same as a Bulgarian split squat where we've of course got a much higher elevation. We're going to keep that separate. So Miles going to set up here. Some of the same considerations are going to apply as they did to some of the other split squat variations where, again, we're always going to be looking at what's the dominance or the bias we're looking for here if there is one, and what is the relative rib cage and pelvis position that we're looking for relevant to that variation. So if we start with the quad dominant, the goal here is going to be to keep the hips in extension. Rib cage is of course matching that, anterior core is braced throughout, and Miles going to focus on driving that front leg as far towards the toes on that working leg as she possibly can. She's controlling and owning those end ranges, really focusing when she's in that bottom position of pressing the foot through the floor, contracting the quad as hard as she can, and then standing up. Now if we switch to the glute dominant, there's going to be a slightly longer stance here. Again, Miles going to focus instead on having as much hip flexion as she can tolerate. Rib cage comes to match that, whilst that knee minimally bends. So you can see here that we don't want the knee traveling as far forward. We want to almost keep that vertical shin throughout the movement. And we're really focusing on really loading up this glute on that front leg here in this position. So in this situation, what Mal might think about is instead of thinking about pressing through the floor, she almost might think about pulling her heel back towards her and thinking about extending the hips up to that top position.